What up, though, y'all? So I done got enough inboxes about this whole situation. I kind of spoke on it. I kind of reacted to it, but I'm just gonna kick the Willy Bobos to you. You know what I'm saying? Now, people want to know what was my opinion on this whole Young Thug situation, and I'm just gonna keep it a bean pie with you. This man is not no gangster. He's not. He's a hurt little boy, and ain't nothing wrong with being hurt. Ain't nothing wrong with being a little boy, but we do need to recognize where we are and what age we at. And this boy is stuck in his childhood years. The problem with this is it's a lot of young men like this. And they take that hurt and they put another title on it like thug. They take that hurt, they put another title on it like pimp or gangster. And let me tell you something about it. The worst version of anything is the fake version. This young man was not qualified to be gang leader. He wasn't qualified to have all of these emotional ass thugs underneath him either. Not qualified at all, not even in the least bit. And that isn't to say he shouldn't have been able to make his money singing his songs, because he should have been. But all of you OGs around this dude knew he wasn't qualified for y'all to be deferring to him as if he been through things. And I don't mean been through things that what we can't keep basing what trauma you've been through off of if you're qualified for a certain position. First of all, if you the top dog of a street crew, how the fuck you feel is irrelevant. Your feelings are irrelevant at that very moment. Your feelings can get you and everybody else around you in a real jammed up situation. That's law right there. Second of all, you can't be in that type of position and you the type of dude that's overly willing to express your thoughts and your feelings. Third, forget being a boss. Let's just keep it with being a gang and a gangster and a gang member. You set up and badmouthed everybody that's in your gang. And that's the problem with gangs. You so emotional, you so hurt, you in your own way, you in the gang's way. Everybody talking about what you think about this, what you think about that. Bottom line, him was not qualified to be in that situation. 6ix9ine was not qualified to be in that situation. Most of you guys that came out here tattletelling were not qualified to be in that situation. And I'm going to tell you, I want to explain something else to you, young Thundercats. You can't spin the police by giving them information and answering their questions. Let me say that again. You can't spin the police by sitting in the interrogation room and answering their questions. You know how you spin the police? You keep the grass cut on the block where you trapping at. You know how you spin the police? You have your license and your car registered to an address in a decent part of town where you don't live. That's how you spin the police. You know how you spin the police? You keep something legitimate going. You work a job. You start a business in the midst of whatever it is you're doing. You know how you spin the police? You donate to the prosecutor that's running campaign. You donate to the judge that's running campaign. That's how you spin the police. You don't spin the police hanging out with niggas that they know doing crime, and then you go sitting in an interrogation room trying to tell them how they ain't do the crime. That's fucking idiocracy. And what they tell you is what you say can and will be used against you. That means even if you don't say something that can help them, they're going to use the fact that you was there talking anyway to help them. That's their fucking job. So don't get mad at everybody else calling you a name because you was dumb enough to sit down at that table. Now, I'm from the old school law. You say, what's the old school law? When the handcuffs come out, shut the fuck up. Because the cop got to, like, if me and you speeding down the street, the cop can give us a ticket for speeding, impeding traffic, reckless driving, or drag racing. Now, some of them is misdemeanors. Some of them is just a ticket. And 2 of them bitches is felonies. But it's up to how the cop writes it. So when you first interacting with cop number 1, you might say something to try to get him the lesson how he about to write this up. But as soon as you see he made his decision, that's when you shut the fuck up. When them, because they can't, what you say before them handcuffs is admissible. But every single thing you say after them handcuffs and them rights, oh, that's going to court, baby. That's going to motherfucking court. So all you young, and I'm a mentor, but I can understand if some of y'all don't listen because my son's ass don't listen. He always find himself in trouble that only I can bail him out of, but he don't listen. My nephews and the young Thundercats I raised in the street, they listen. They listen. You motherfuckers don't. And y'all the ones that need to listen the most. So all this spending the police, man, all this, you upset, and then you in the way of your own money. You not qualified to be the boss of a label. Gunna done made a mistake that a whole lot of people make by ending up with people who they trusting to be leaders who are not qualified to be leaders. He gonna have more people identifying with him than you ever will with the fake gangster shit. Now, does Juan-o support snitching? No, but I don't support losing relationships either. And if somebody in that situation snitched on me and they still tried to do right after, you would never know. You would never know. If somebody I cared about did anything disloyal, you would never know. You know why? Because I'm a real leader. I'm a real boss. I'm really strong. The number one job of a strong person is to recognize weakness. So that means the people that's around you, they all have a weakness in one way or another. And everybody ain't going to have the strength to give you the same type of loyalty that you give. Everybody ain't going to have the strength to get the same compassion. Everybody ain't going to have the this and the that to get the same money. It's certain things. A person's glass might be full in this area and empty in another. But them your people. And if you say you love them, you're supposed to love them for that. So when one of my people do some weak shit, I don't forget that I already knew that they wasn't that strong. You understand? I check myself. Because chances is I might have had a bitch in a girlfriend position. Chances is I might have had a friend in a business partner position. Chances is I might have had a business partner in a friend position. I might have had a hoe in a girlfriend position. But that's me as the leader hiring people for the wrong position. So it's on me as the leader to put them in the right position. Gunna should have never been around no gangster shit anyway. He's a fucking artist signed to your label. He should have never been in a position to snitch on you. Never, ever, ever, never. That was your fuck up. How dare you be upset with that nigga? I mean, I can understand being upset with that nigga, but you ain't no real boss. You ain't no real leader if you ain't upset with yourself first. Unless we talking about somebody whipping it out, trying to stick it in your girl or take it from your daughter. All this other shit can be worked out. And when you look at it as the boss, as the leader, if everybody about to have to give up a pint of blood, but you can give up a quart of blood and keep the operation running, then you give up your quart of blood. That's what it's about to be, king. I could never call you king, bro. You not willing to take the hits. And then you crying. Not crying in this show, but you crying out when you should be looking inward. You should be looking inward. And if these people were so disloyal to you and you got to cut them off for their disloyalty, then you shouldn't feel no fucking way about that. But if you feel a way about that, that means you know that ain't what you supposed to be doing. If you as strong as you say you is, that means you had to know these people were weak. And them being weak don't make them bad, it make them human. The same way I notice you weak. So I ain't gonna shit on you. But try and school you young Thundercats. You need to drop music and you need to go ahead and apologize to that boy. You need to apologize to yourself. You highly conflicted over a bunch of shit that don't make sense. And you got kids to raise. You got motherfucking kids to raise. And that's the bottom line. You can't raise your kids holding on to all that bullshit you holding on to, trying to tell other people how they supposed to react. You can't keep putting your morals on other people, especially when you don't stick to your morals through and through, bro. You sit here expressing how you don't want to hear nothing this man got to say, in the same breath expressing how you need to hear what he got to say or how he should say something. You got to pick a side, little homie. You got to pick a side. And I don't know. Shout out to Big Bank. We out.